Good morning and good afternoon again. We'll start the webinar. My name is Praveen Kumar, and I am working with JKT as Vice President Digital. And I have with me Shankar Kamra, who is the technical lead in the digital team. And we'll be taking about 25 minutes to go through the webinar. Which is subjected as AI-powered chatbot for businesses. We'll also be sharing some of our real-life experiences. Just to cover the agenda, so we'll talk about the need for the chatbot, the evolution of the chatbot through various stages, some of the commonly used chatbot platforms, and what we have used. And then we'll deep dive into one of the real-life business use cases that we have developed, covering business requirements, tool and technologies used, technical architecture, and application walkthrough. At the end, we'll be discussing the key takeaways, and followed by a Q&A session. Now, just for some housekeeping, you can see the Q&A window on the WebEx screen, and you can type in your questions during the webinar, or you can reserve your questions for the end. We will have about 5 to 10 minutes at the end for Q&A session. So moving on, when we talk about chatbots, and we have had various workshops with our customers in last 1.5 years working on AI chatbots. That what is the real need for chatbot? Why it is becoming so prominent? And one of the reasons that we have realized across working with various customers is that organic and inorganic growth in customer base. The companies are growing exponentially, and so is the customer base. So there has been a lot of pressure on the customer services team, and increasing the number of people in the customer services is not a very cost-effective option. Also, the 24/7 working nature of the customer services team, that puts a lot of pressure on the efficiency. Innovation, everybody is talking about innovation and using latest technologies, and also that is also being part of the core strategy of most of the CIOs and CTOs. That is another trigger for using technologies like AI chatbot. But more importantly, customer interactions. There has been an eminent surge in managing customer interactions properly through various channels, not only phone call, not only web forms, but also through social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, also through voice assistants like Alexa and all these days. So that has put a lot of pressure on businesses to adopt technologies like AI chatbot. And then this methodology of walking and then running, the approach, rather than just taking a big bang approach, going through, we have used design thinking as one of the models of evolving a business case into a technical project. And then technologies like chatbot being one of them, but omni-channel presence of the chatbot is something which has really kicked off in last couple of years. Self-learning and self-service initiatives, like which is frictionless. Customers are more and more trying to find out avenues of self-service initiatives, and then ease of integration with ERP and CRM systems as compared to what it used to be like decades ago. The integration with various core functions and systems like ERPs are far easier, which also triggers the use of and adoption of technologies like AI chatbot. Moving on and talking about the chatbot evolution, I still remember about 10 years ago when we used to have chatbots. We used to create FAQs where we had a set of questions and variety of answers to be stored, in the database or in the file system, and people and the customers used to get responses based on that. But then came the intent recognizer, which is intelligent, which is AI backed, where we identify the set of intents which customers might be looking at. So, for example, order status could be one intent, where customer can come up and ask the question in variety of different ways, like where is my order, what is my order status, may I know my order status, and there could be many other forms of the similar inquiry. deriving a meaning out of it and then responding to the customer is now the need of an hour, and intent recognizer chatbot does exactly the same. And then the third stage of the chatbot evolution is the dialogue manager, where not only it identifies the intent, but also understands and the past conversations to come up with meaningful suggestions. And more importantly, gesture analysis or understanding of the sentiment of the customer, which can be, a customer can be sad or angry or very, very happy, and take some actions based on that. And the fourth stage of maturity for chatbot is an intelligent advisor, where based on the past conversations, data, and some other algos, it can actually advise or predict for customers. In my experience working with various customers across the globe, most of the companies are at intent recognizer level who are implementing a real chatbot solution and moving towards the dialogue manager. Only very few companies who have actually gone into the intelligent advisor mode. And some of the use cases, if you see, as I said, majority of them is used in the customer services or customer support team, where there are certain requests and complaints which are coming from the customers, and there are people on the phone who are answering those, can be really taken care of by the chatbot. Internal functions of big organizations where the employee base is like hundreds of thousands, these functions like IT help desk or HR or finance, they get very frequent queries from the employees, which are similar in nature, so very easily handled by chatbots. Helping hand for customer services team for providing meaningful and on-time information to the field agents is another area where chatbot is used. And then the sales and marketing function, while engaging with the prospects and leads and generating new business, is another one. And we'll talk about the customer services function use case a little bit more detail in the future slides. Some of the platforms which are obviously multilingual. Everybody talks about multilingual chatbots these days. We've done a variety of work with most of these platforms like Watson or Live Agent or Rasa, for example, which is an open source platform, gives you the ability to create your own chatbot using a variety of languages. And then these three ways which we have worked, and we feel that it's very easy to develop and deploy solutions using Dialogflow or Amazon Lex or Rasa, along with the one which you see on the left-hand side. And we'll again, the use case that we're going to show you is using Amazon Lex as a chatbot platform. Now let's talk about one of the real-life experiences that we had working with one of our customers. And just to let you know about the client, who is a leading global manufacturers and distributors of consumer goods in USA, facing challenge in responding to customer queries on time and with required efficiency. And this is primarily because as a customer, if I've bought a product and I'm returning from the office in the evening or the late hours, and then I want to use that product and I'm stuck and I need some help, there may be a situation where the call center team or the customer services team, they're not available 24/7. That leads to a lot of customer dissatisfaction and missed interactions. And then since the customer services team needs to pull data from different variety of sources, it used to take time, and sometimes the data was not accurate. Also, there were various people and various teams managing, for example, web forms. Some team were managing social media interactions, and some people were managing WhatsApp interactions, etc. And this led to a workshop with a customer where we discussed in length with business stakeholders and identified and explored various options including RPA or AI chatbots or some other tools. And then we zeroed on to that, okay, fair enough, we'll go with AI chatbot as a solution, while other technologies like RPA and all can fit in at required juncture. And then the business benefits that you see is that it was obviously partially automated customer services, because even if you have an automated system using AI chatbot for responding your customer queries and requests, you still need a human touch at times. And one of the other advantages of AI chatbot is that it can seamlessly hand over to a human agent, and for the end customer, it is completely seamless. So I still see the same window in which I'm interacting with the business, while at the back end, instead of a bot, a human can start responding. Obviously, it is our ethical responsibility to let the end users know that now you're not chatting with a bot, but you're chatting with a human agent. Of course, it was 24/7 available, and then proactive customer interactions, because we had historical data and we could do a lot of analytics on top of it. It was more focused interaction with the customer with suggestions and recommendations. At a very high level, this was a business requirement. If you see on the screen, on the left-hand side, we had variety of sources through which this business was interacting with the customer. It is through web forms on the website, through mobile app, through social channels like Facebook and Twitter. IVR was another one, and then the voice assistant like Alexa, and then traditional model like SMS. And we were in the process of putting together an AI chatbot platform which can actually interact with all these sources, and then in the back end integrate with CRM systems and other data sources like SQL servers to extract the responses based on the queries that we're getting from the customers from one of those sources. Now, at this point of time, I'll hand it over to Shankar, who, as I said, is a technical lead in the digital team at JKT, and he will walk you through the detailed technical implementation of this business requirement.
Thank you, Praveen. Greetings, everyone. Myself, Shankar Kamra. I'm working as a technical lead in JKT, and I help businesses to implement technical solutions in areas like AI, machine learning, chatbots, and IoT. So let's get started. And as we have discussed, that we have implemented a chatbot solution for one of our customers, which is a leading good manufacturer and distributor in USA. So this is a tool set and technology that we have used to implement a chatbot solution. For chatbot platform, we have used Amazon Lex. It was a discussion like whether we should go for a Google Dialogflow or Amazon Lex, but client has invested in AWS services already, so they were keen to use Amazon Lex as a chatbot platform. And they were not going to have a multilingual platform, so Amazon Lex was the best choice for them, and we agreed to that. Then we have a live person, as we have saw that their challenges were that they need to implement and they need to integrate multiple channels like website, mobile applications, IVR channels, or voice assistants. So live person provides SDKs for all these sources so that we can integrate our chatbot platform, and live person acts as a middleware for that. And to get the information from the backend systems, as you can see on our screen, like Salesforce or SAP, any CRM tools or backend systems like backend databases, Amazon Lex uses Lambda functions to get information from the backend. And the language that we have used so far for Amazon Lambda functions and live persons, so that's the Node.js SDK that is provided by both of these cloud platforms. So moving on to the next slide, we will discuss about the high-level architecture that we have implemented for this chatbot solution. So as you can see on our screen, the first layer is the source layer, which client has identified that they need these kinds of channels to be integrated with the chatbot platform so that they can automate their processes. So as you can see that there are different sources like website, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, mobile application, or IVR application. So the second layer is the live person platform, which provides different kinds of SDKs, each required for they provide live engage tag, which needs to be generated and copy paste into their website. And as simple as that, a chat window will appear on your website. Also, they provide SDKs for mobile application and for the IVR application also. The third layer that we have is a bot layer, which interacts with the live engage platform as well as the chatbot platforms. So for that, again, live person provides two SDKs. One is the chat agent API, and another one is the messaging agent SDK. One is for the live chat, and another one is for the messaging channels like Facebook Messenger, which works on the messaging APIs like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. So using that SDKs, we created a bot layer, middle layer, which communicates with the Amazon Lex layer and pass the information from a chat window to Amazon Lex so that we can invoke intent, and so that if we need to get information from the backend systems like Salesforce or any databases, we use Lambda functions. As we are using Amazon Lex, we are using Lambda functions. In case you are going to use Google Dialogflow, you can use webhooks and you can call the web services and get the information extracted from the backend systems. Also, as you can see on our screen, that at any point of time, if bot is unable to answer a particular query, or just like the sentiment of visitor is not good, or he or she is angry regarding the conversation, and we can transfer a chat to a human agent at any point of time. So let's just move on to the Amazon Lex, and let's understand the basic things that we need to understand about Amazon Lex, how things works in Amazon Lex as a chatbot platform. So it's not altogether different. It's pretty much similar to the Google Dialogflow and other chatbot platforms. It always contains the intents, and we need to train some paraphrases so that the intent needs to be invoked. So in terms of Amazon Lex, these technology terms are known as utterances. So we need to train, like as you can see on our scene, if we need to invoke a get order status, we need to have some paraphrases or utterances, like where is my order, I want to track my order. And also we can provide some stored information with the utterances, like I want to track my order and my PO number is this. So with these utterances, we train a intent, and that gives enough information so that at any point of time, if anybody types this kinds of history, then the intent will be invoked. So moving on to the next thing, which is Amazon slots. So as you can see, if we take our example of order tracking, we need some information from the visitor so that we can track his order status. So the information that we need from the visitor is, in this case, is PO number and zip code. So these information is known as floats in Amazon Lex. And if we compare it to the Google Dialogflow, these technology terms are known as entities in Google Dialogflow. So moving on to the next slide, Lambda function provides two functions. Like one role is to validate the data. Like if the visitor supplied PO number and zip code, we need to validate that this zip code is for US or Canada, whether the PO number entered is valid or not. So after validation, there is one more requirement for Lambda function, that we need to fulfill the request of user. To fulfill the request, we need to pass this information to the backend system and get the response back to the Amazon Lex. And these are the sample response format that we use in Lambda functions for Amazon Lex. So as you can see on scene, this is a confirm intent which uses dialog action type as a confirm intent. If we need to ask something and we need to confirm something from visitor, we need to use this response format. Like, are you happy with our response, or was this information helpful or not? Then we use confirm intent. Second response format that you see on our screen is the close. In this dialog action we use is as a close, that everything has been done and we have fulfilled what user has required. Again, as you see on our screen, this is the third format that we use in Amazon Lex, which is an illicit slot. We need some information from the user, like you need to provide a zip code now, or the zip code that has been entered is not right, and you have to again provide the zip code. And delegate is the normal procedure that board has been configured, and we need to do at some point of time. And as you can see on our screen, at any point of time, bot can transfer a chat to human agent depending upon the certain cases, like bot is unable to handle a query, or visitor specifically enters like, I want to talk to a human. So this piece of code, what it specifies that we are calling a live person endpoint, which is a transfer agent, and we supply a skill ID to which person or group this chat needs to be transferred. Again, this is another endpoint that we use frequently, that when we need to close a chat, or visitor specifically says that he is happy with our services and you can end the chat right now. So this is another endpoint which we need to specify, and depending upon the use case, like we can call and store the chat history information in our backend system so that we can look into it at any point of time. So at this point of function, we can call another endpoint so that we can store the chat history. So right now we are going to showcase a demo that we have developed for our clients. This is a chat window of live person. As you can see on our screen, this is a pre-chat survey, that the prerequisite information that we gather from the visitor, like what's your name, email address, and your phone number. And depending upon the nature of inquiry, our bot is involved. So first of all, the bot will greet you about like, hello, I'm here to assist you. And if you have your purchase order and zip code ready, then just click on yes button, and then it will ask the enter your purchase order number. This is the get order status intent being invoked, and we have supplied the information about like that's my PO number. Now we are going to supply the zip code information. Now the fulfillment Lambda function will be called and will fetch the information from the backend, like what is the order status for this particular PO and zip code combination. So as you can see that this is the information coming onto the screen. And also at any point of time, as you are going to see just now, like if a user says like, I want to talk to a human, then this whole chat will be transferred to a human agent. So the next screen that you are just going to see after the transfer of chat would be a live engaged dashboard on which human agent is already logged in and can respond to the chat accordingly. Also, it can navigate back up to and scroll back, and so that he can see the whole conversation chat history and reply back accordingly. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you, Shankar. And as you can see, this seamless transition, because for end user there is no difference really, but from the back end, chatbot has handed over to a human agent, which is now taking over and the communication with the customer. Now, just coming back to some of the key takeaways, and this is not only this particular project that we did, but also combining our experience working with various other customers. What are the key takeaways that we had in working similar kind of projects is that we need a lab approach, even for proven technologies like chatbots, because every business scenario and requirement is different, and we need to prove that to the business that there's a real ROI before investing too much into end-to-end implementation or a broader implementation. The next one is that need to involve a business team for even for POCs and R&Ds, because only doing technology work without business involvement doesn't help the cause. When it comes to chatbot implementation, the third one, as you see, is defining the intents appropriately is the key, and that is why we need to involve the business teams, because they can give us all the input for identifying intents and utterances, as Shankar was mentioning earlier. Based on our experience, I can say that it's about 6 weeks effort for a team to deliver first working version of the chatbot. Of course, it depends on the complexity and all, but for example, this order status chatbot, if you have to develop and deliver in production, it takes about 6 weeks effort. And this is not only one experience, but the last one, if you see 50%, up to 50% efficiency in automating and achieving customer services function in the customer services function is what we have achieved with a few of our customers, not one. So with that, I would end the session on the AI chatbot for businesses, and for next few minutes, I'll open the floor for any questions if you have. You can type in your questions in the Q&A window, and either myself or Shankar will take those questions. Yeah, I can see one question coming up. If the chatbot doesn't understand questions repeatedly, then will it transfer to a human agent automatically? Shankar, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So Amazon Lex, it provides the configuration that how many times it should ask a particular question. So if it fails for like 2 or 3 times, that can be configured on the chat Amazon Lex panel, and the response that it will send it back to you is like dialog action type should be failed. So depending on that, we can transfer it to the human agent. So it can be configured.
And yeah, I mean, just to answer the question, yes, this is one scenario in which it hands over to a human agent. The other one could be if the chatbot understands that the customer is not satisfied by the phrases that customer is using in the communication. At that time, also chatbot can transfer to human agent, and there could be various other scenarios. You're welcome. We'll wait for some more questions. One question which has come up is how to decide which chatbot platform to use with various options available like Amazon Lex, Google Dialogflow, and others. I will take up that. So it really depends on a few things. One is that there are certain customers who, or certain companies who want to implement AI chatbot. They might have invested heavily in one of the platforms like Amazon or Google or IBM or Microsoft for that matter. And it becomes very easy for them to get aligned with one of them. So that is one parameter, but that cannot only be the deciding factor. The other one is, for example, multilingual requirement. So for example, Amazon Lex may not support all the languages which is needed, while Google Dialogflow might be a better option, or Rasa might be a much broader option. So, and then the skill set which is available in the existing, in the company, that is another deciding factor. So. There's another question which has come up which says that, do you have some kind of analysis mechanism where chatbots can add the keywords or questions automatically, which you are not only fed to it? If I understand it correctly, I think the question is that, do we need to keep all the questions in the database, or is chatbot is going to learn itself? So, Shankar, do you want to take that?
So yeah, we keep track on the logs, what are the missed utterances by the bot, and using that log we trained our bot. As Amazon provides a REST API, we can create intents and slots from the code also. So it's not to be go to the Amazon Lex console on the browser. You have to train it. So we have application that do so. We keep listening to the logs, and we have our analytics team doing that.
And just to add on this, since there's an AI engine which is running behind the chatbot, depending on what model you're using. For example, one of the projects that we did with Dialogflow, we had the machine learning at the back, which was actually learning with the logs and then passing the feedback to the chatbot, so that in the next interaction or coming interaction after the training, it can take it up about those questions automatically. So are you keeping log of all such interactions? Of course, yes. The logs are anyway kept. Where do you keep it? I mean,
S3 bucket and.
Yeah. So for Amazon, you can keep it in S3 bucket, or you can keep it in any NoSQL database. What is your backend structure? The backend structure could be NoSQL. As I said, for interactions to be stored, we can have a flat file or NoSQL, because it becomes easier to do analysis on top of it. Another question, that how do you compare Amazon Lex to Microsoft Bot Framework API? Now, it's difficult to compare because they both have their own set of advantages and disadvantages. Almost both of them solve most of the problems. The one difference that I could share with my experience is that Microsoft Bot APIs, they have a broader range of language capabilities as compared to Amazon Lex. The costing is obviously a little different from between Microsoft and Amazon, but it's very hard to say that which one to pick and choose. It all depends on the business use case. The last question I'm going to take, because we are running out of time. Any legal problem of keeping such interactions logs? Some countries don't allow keeping users' data in the readable format. Now, I just wanted to be very, very clear. It's a very good question, that we never store customer information or any such detail in the logs, which we do analyze for training our bots. So there are, unless we have agreement or there is a contractual obligation, or those things are sorted with between the end user license or EULA and the business. So we had one use case for one of the UK-based customers where, of course, GDPR is in effect. We had huge limitation in terms of not only storing but also analyzing the data. While in US we had a free hand in getting these details processed, because there was nothing confidential about the detail that we were capturing when it comes to customer interaction. So yeah, I mean, legal comes into the picture, and depending on what kind of business that we're dealing with, we take a call appropriately. So thank you. So thank you again, all of you. It has been really a pleasure sharing our views, and thanks for asking all those questions. Our marketing team will be in touch with you, and they'll be sharing the details about the webinar and all. Just in case if you have any question or any clarification that you need, you can see on the screen the email ID, which is marketing@jktech.com. You can get in touch with us. You can market directly to me and Shankar as well. Through our email IDs, which is praveen.kumar@jktech.com and shankar.kamra@jktech.com, and we'll be happy to answer the questions. Thanks again for joining in. Wish you all the best, and have a good day and good evening.
Thank you all.